Okay, so 17, the question was, could we keep the letter order the same? Well, no, you cannot, because my B and D changed from an A and D. So if I started at letter B, I would say triangle BNA is similar to triangle, well, I went from singular mark to double mark to no mark, so I'm going to go from singular mark to double mark to no mark. So that would be triangle DNC. Okay, number 18, I'll change colors here. So 18 says if I was given this information. So let me erase what this marks over here. Oops, let's see. So then I would have CN is 16, ND is 14, BN is 7, and AN is 8. So I have 16, 14, 7, and 8. So I need to set up the proportions. So 8 is to 14, as 7 is to 16. No, that doesn't work. So let's try the other one. 8 is to 16, as 7 is to 14. Well, those are the same ratio. They're both in the ratio of 1 to 2. But that's only two sides. Remember, we either have to have an AA, an SAS, or an SSS. Well, we weren't given any third side length, so we can't assume anything from there. But, once again, we still know these vertical angles are congruent. So we do have the side angle side case here, side angle side. So, yes, this would prove the two triangles were similar because of side angle side theorem. And so what's the order of my letters? Well, let's start with the bottom one. If I went C and D, so I went from C to N to D, what am I going to do on the opposite one? Well, remember the 8 and the 16 were the ones that matched, were proportional to each other. So I'm going to start from A and I'm going to go A, N, B. So triangle CND is similar to triangle ANB. Finally, this last bit of information, let me erase. It says that AN is equal to 7, and AB is equal to 13, and DN is equal to 14, and DC is equal to 26. And then let's once again mark the fact that we know these vertical angles are congruent to each other. But this time we don't know anything about NC or BN, and so we have a side-side angle situation, So we cannot determine that triangles are similar here because we don't have side, we don't have side, and we do not have angle. So there's no way to prove that those two triangles are in fact similar. Okay, let's look at number 20. If we were given these two triangles, could we prove that they were similar? Well, I'm going to look, obviously it's going to be based on side, and that's it. But now we have to check the proportion, or the ratio. You can't just say yes because all the sides were given. That's not necessarily true. And can you just check one of the pairs? No, you have to check all of the corresponding sides. Well, how do I know which side corresponds to which side? Well, it's obvious. The smallest number has to go with the smallest number. So it should be 8 is to 11.2, as the middle number is to the middle number, as 11 is to 15.4, as the largest number is to the largest number. So as 15 is to 21. Now you need to take your calculator and divide all of them. So 8 divided by 11.2, I get about 0.7143. And then you have to take 11 and divide it by 15.4. I get 0.7143. Then I have to take 15 and divide it by 21. I get 0.7143. So because they all divided into be the same ratio, 0.7143 to 1, or we could reduce that, put it in reduced fraction form, right? So, which would be 5/7. So it's a 5 to 7 scale factor. Because they're all with the same scale factor, then yes, they are similar because of SSS. Okay, the last few. Number 21. Which proportion is incorrect? Looking at this diagram over here. Okay, so we must be missing letter W in my picture. So this is letter W over here. So OS is to ST as OV is to VW. So OS is to OT as OV is to OW. That is correct. Let's try the next one. Oops, wanted to erase. Okay, the next one, SV is to TW as OS is to ST. Okay, well look at this. This is a small triangle here. This small triangle side is to the large triangle side as the small triangle side is to just this part right here. Does that make sense? No, we'd have to go back and do the large triangle side. So be careful there. So this one does not work. It would have to go SV is to TW as OS is to OT, right? You can't do this small part right there. It has to be OT. And then finally this last one, I'm assuming it's correct because they only said which one is not correct, but let's check. OT is to OW, so we're going from large triangle side to large triangle side, as small triangle side is to small triangle side. So we went back to the left and then to the right. So yes, this one does in fact work. Okay, now they're giving us measurements and we have to find the missing parts. So OS is 8, ST is 12, OV is 10, so therefore find OW. Oh, tricky. So actually, you're going to need to try to find VW, and then you're going to add that value to 10 to find OW. Don't get sucked into the trick and think, if I do 8 is to 12, I'm going to do 10 is to OW. That's wrong. It's 10 is to X, right? So we cross multiply, 8X equals 120, divide by 8, so X equals 15. But that is not my answer. That's just this portion right here. OW is 10 plus 15, which gives me an answer of 25. So OW in this case is actually 25. Okay, sorry, I've got to erase. Okay, this is a W to remind me. Let's look at 23. 23 says, if OS is 8 and ST is 12, OW is 24, then find VW. Okay, we don't know VW. We do know this big part's 24, so how can we find this little part? Well, here's what I think you should do. Since I have the big part and I'm trying to find the little part, oh no, I'm trying to find this part, but if I find the little part, I can subtract it from 24 and get my X. So I can say the little part of the triangle, which is 8, is to the big side of the triangle, which is 20, as the little part of the triangle, which is X, is to the big part of the triangle, which is 24. Okay, sorry, let's call this Y, because I already named the bottom part X. So let's call OV Y. Or, let's make this easy and not confusing. Let's just call it OV. So I'm going to cross multiply, so I would do 24 times 8 divided by 20 equals OV. So what do I get? 24 times 8 divided by 20, let's see here. I'm going to get 9.6. Okay, but that's not the answer. The answer is not what is the value of OV. The answer is what is the value of VW. Well, if this was 9.6, I'm going to subtract that from 24, and so I get 14.4. Please be prepared to have decimals on your test. Bring a calculator. It is going to make your life so much easier. You need a calculator. Please bring one to the test. Okay, and finally, number 24. In triangle ABC, the bisector of angle B. So I'm going to draw it. In triangle ABC, the bisector of angle B meets side AC at K. So these two angles should be congruent. If AB equals 18 and BC equals 24 and AC equals 28, so this entire thing equals 28, find AK. Okay, they did it to us again, but this time we have no choice. We have to say, if this is 28 and this is X, then this portion here is the entire total 28 minus whatever this is, so minus X. And then I have to do the theorem which says that these two parts are in the same proportion as their corresponding sides. So x is to 28 minus x, go back to the left-hand side, as 18 is to 24. Right? So left-hand side is to right-hand side as left-hand side is to right-hand side. In this diagram, that's what I did. Could you have said 18 is to x as 24 is to 28 minus x? Sure, your cross products or your multiplication of your extremes and means would still be the same. So let's finish this by multiplying 24 times x, 18 times 28 minus x. I need to distribute my 18. So let's see, what is 18 times 28? I get 504 minus 18x. I add 18x to both sides. So 24 plus 18, and then I divide that. So I divide each side by 42. So what do we get? 504 divided by 42 is equal to 12. Again, all the more reason to bring a calculator. Those aren't numbers you want to do without your calculator. So 504 divided by 42, what do we get? We get AK equals 12. Is that really the value of AK? Well, yes it is, because I named AK equal to X. So yes, that is the value of AK. So therefore, what would KC be? Well, you would subtract 12 from 28, get 16. That would be KC. They didn't ask us for that, but again, if they did, there's your answer. Okay, hopefully that helped. Do the question press, review the test questions, go see a teacher Monday or Tuesday. Monday, Miss Leopold during lunch. Tuesday, Mr. Murgatroyd. Wednesday, Miss Donovan. Thursday after school, Mr. Craig. Good luck. See you soon.